Okay. It's, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 after 6, and we have a bylaw in our association that if we have a choice between starting early or starting late, we always start on time so that we punish a person who comes late. And I'm habitually late, so anyway. So, gentlemen, this is a regular meeting of our organization, and we're going to get started here because we have to call our meeting to order by parliamentary procedure. The first thing I want to do is have the members of the group stand and recognize themselves now, or be recognized by you. Now, there'll be people coming later, and I don't want to wait because I want to make sure you candidates have as much time as you want to talk. What's going to happen first is I'm going to introduce our coalition board, and then I'm going to introduce the members of the LLC that's part of the coalition, and we'll quickly end that, and then we're going to give you a little smidgen of information. This is not something that's you've been tricked into to come here to listen to us. We're going to give you about 10 to 15 minutes of information only, and then we want you to, if you choose to, come up here and you can talk. This is Dante Ludovisi. He's a member of the Cinematographers Guild. He's a very professional person. He will have a video for you, right? So they'll make personal arrangements with you if they want the video. And up here is our social media. Mark Urich, can you stand? Mark is one of those guys that knows how to do something I don't even have a clue. Okay, but Mark is our social media director. So this is going to be on Facebook Live also. So I have to tell you, as a candidate once upon a time, and I've lost more elections, I've been turned down more by the voters than the sheets in the United States Navy have been, okay? So I can handle rejection. I'm never going to do it again. But I'm basically telling you, the one thing I remember from running for office is how expensive it is and how you work your legs off and you can't be everywhere. So we kind of thought, as a community act of friendship, it would be nice to get something in multimedia from you people without picking sides, and let you go out there and put it on Facebook, put it in a TV commercial or whatever, because our board is already going to commend each one of you for being here. And I think that's, in fact, the motion I have, gentlemen, is to get permission to run an ad for all the people who showed up here, because I know some people didn't come. We threw an ad out there real late. It was in the paper for a week. So we're going to move it along, okay? I tell one of our meetings, in the words of Elizabeth Taylor to her first 7 husbands, we promise not to keep you too long, okay? She did have 7 husbands, by the way. So you can Google that. Okay, now, at the LLC, Barb, you can actually put these into a minutes later. We're calling the meeting to order. It was properly, the bylaws were obeyed. The Substance Abuse Coalition Summit, I am asking that the board call the meeting to order, and that's my motion. I need a second, Bruce Galick. Bruce Galick seconds that motion. I have the proxy of Charles Lorino and my daughter Annie, and we vote to open the meeting, okay? Now, the LLC, we have our CEO is not here yet, so we have our Chief Implementation Officer. And on behalf of the CEO, can you make a motion to call the LLC open for business?
I do.
Okay, and so I need a second for that, gentlemen. Joe Goff seconds that motion. And all in favor of opening the LLC meeting, just signify by saying aye. Okay, let our record reflect that both meetings were properly open. Gentlemen, I have a motion for both boards that I would like to have the boards permit us to run an ad at half-page length or more, commending the people who showed up here and mentioning them in the office that they're running for, okay? Do I have a second to that motion? Okay? And we will run that. Now, you do not need to have your name in there if you don't want. So if you want, make sure that somebody has your name spelled right and what office you're running for. If you don't want to, and your name's not on one of our tablets, you will not appear in there, and that's okay. But I think that if you're running for office, you should be commended for showing an interest in a topic that, quite frankly, nobody knows anything about. When you leave here, you're going to be amazed at how much you don't know in a few minutes. Okay, so was that motion voted on? It was already passed? Okay, so I am going to move forward. It was not voted on. I didn't think it was. All the LLC and the board in favor of financially supporting at least that. Nobody wants to, then we'll commend ourselves. Please take your seat. This is Dr. Joe DeFrancesco. Is Jim Edmonds behind you without a policeman following him? A policeman's in front. Okay. So that's my second, next to the last order of business. Dr. Wrightson and Yvonne Wrightson, there's chairs right here for you. She's the eye candy of the group here, and John and Barb. Okay, so grab a seat there. Whose blazer is that, Mr. Yorish? If you want to get your blazer out of the way before John Wrightson steals it. And we have somebody here from Hess Printing. Hi, Ms. Creasy. How are you? Okay, now, the last order of business from the LLC and the board is for me to call each one of you. Please use the hand mic. So if you don't mind, I'll go take the hand mic and walk back and forth. Is that all right? Okay. Please say your name loudly so we can hear you.
Bruce Gallick, board member of Stacks. And paralegal in Angelo Paper's Signature Hill office.
Okay, would you please stand so they can see also? That's Bruce Gallick.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Joe Gott. I'm a full-time board-certified maxillofacial surgeon in West Hills. Also have a pain management practice. I'm one of the LLC team members. Thank you for being here.
You can just pass the mic. I stand up behind you. You still have to stand on it and show everybody how much taller Joe is.
I always look up to Joe. I am Dr. Jim Barber. I am a plastic surgeon. I live in Swickley, originally from Newcastle. Great hometown, still come up here all the time. My sister's from Newcastle. My mother-in-law is still living in Newcastle. Still going to come up here and see some of my old buddies that I grew up with and all. Eddie and Jeff and Mark and Lisco and everybody here. So I'm on the LLC for VRN and also member of Sachs and doing this great project we're doing and something we can all be proud of in the future.
Hi, welcome everyone. Good luck to all of you out there. My name is Gerard Golub. I am actually the third cog in the wheel, if you will, in this whole project here. I am an addictions counselor, so I have that component to deal with and to work with, and I look forward very much to applying my trade in this this wonderful idea. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tom McKinley. I am the CEO of SACS, which is the nonprofit group, and I'm also the Chief Implementation Officer of VRN. And so I'm the guy that's trying to pull all these little bits and pieces together and get these sites opened up and moving forward. I also want to wish all of you good luck with your election activities, and thank you so much for being here.
I don't know if I can stand up. I can't get my chair up. My name's Barbara Bush, and don't let up my name. But I want to welcome you all here too. I am a court stenographer. I freelance, and I have been a court stenographer for over 30 years. And this is a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. I'm very passionate about this and this organization. And currently, I do the note-taking for both the LLC and the nonprofit, and I'm just so lucky to be involved with these people. And I wish you all good luck with your campaigns, and thank you very much for being here.
And Barb, you have one more duty too, and that is to turn the TV back on.
Okay.
Welcome everybody. My name's Joe DeFrancesco. I too, like Joe, is a practicing maxillofacial surgeon with offices in Pittsburgh and Slippery Rock. And when Angelo had asked me to be a partner, I was more than enthused because I, along with many other doctors who do surgery, do administer narcotics. And with the epidemic that's going on, we're trying to alleviate that And I think the route that we have is hitting the target right on with multiple means to allow patients to not remain addicted. So I am happy to be with this group. And thank you for coming, gentlemen and ladies.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Wrightson, registered nurse, and I am a partner in the group. I have worked many years with pain management as well as persons that have been afflicted with addiction. I have been with Dr. Wrightson assisting with several applications as far as the bridge, as well as Bit and Trough. We welcome you tonight. We also welcome you for many of your questions. Hopefully we have a lot of the answers for you. And as a community, we think that we can pull together and get the answers going that we need to. The healthcare these days has changed tremendously, and we need to strive forward for a future. So again, we welcome you. We welcome all of the areas going forward to get moving on a problem that has needed to be addressed for a long time.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your valuable and busy schedule to join us this evening. In case you were wondering, this is my wife. She is the brains of the operation. So, and she's a very hard worker, both as my office manager and doing a lot of the financial types of activities that need to be done through VRN and so forth. Anyway, I am a interventional pain management physician. I've had an office here in Newcastle. Actually started my practice in 2001 in Wilmington and opened my office here in Newcastle in 2003. So I've been here in the community for quite a few years, trying to take care of patients that have chronic pain and at the same time dealing with the issues of opiate addiction and trying to appropriately treat patients while sort of maintaining a watchful eye on the progression of the opiate addiction epidemic that we're all in the midst of now. So this, I've been involved with this project with Angelo pretty much from the beginning. It's got to be, I don't know, 15, 16 years now, 18 years.
We didn't get it right yet.
That we, when we started this little endeavor, we were actually driving down sometimes to do radio shows in Beaver with myself and Angelo and Robin Cole from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and so that's how long we've been, involved with this program, and how long it's taken us to nurture it and develop it to where it is today. And it's one of those things that, although it's taken this long for us to develop VRN, it is now blossoming, and just like plants in the spring that, you look at them one day and they're just a little green sprout coming out of the ground, you come back a week later and you have flowers and foliage and everything, and that's the point that we're at now with VRN, and we're very happy to provide a very unique recovery program for patients that do not involve any type of medications that patients afflicted with addiction can still become dependent on, such as methadone or Suboxone. And so our program is unique in that the treatments that we offer and will provide for patients will not be one that will essentially just change them to a parallel road, so to speak, albeit more controlled. But anyhow, that having been said, getting a little long-winded here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over. And once again, thanks everybody for being with us this evening.
Hi there, I'm Michael Long. I am been with VRN since the beginning of the year, and handle a lot of operation stuff and help out with that. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight, all the elected officials and candidates, and I know you're very busy with upcoming primaries and everything else, so taking time out this evening to be here with us is greatly appreciated. We do have a program, a unique program, to help us solve this pressing public health crisis that not enough people know about. And we're really happy that you're here, that you can help bring awareness towards this. It's a total abstinence program, something that we've not had before, but we have a solution here right now. And again, thank you for attending, and you enjoy your time.
Thank you, Michael. Good Monday evening, everyone. I know most of you, and most of you know me. My name is Doug McEltrott, and I'm the Director of Strategic Communications and Event Planning for VRN, the Verifiable Recovery Network, which is part of what Substance Abuse Coalition Summits is integrated with. Again, this was a very impromptu type of an invitation that was in the paper. It's your red carpet invitation to the candidates. It's a red carpet invitation so you can meet the coalition prior to the breakfast that we're sponsoring or hosting. I think we're hosting this breakfast this Saturday, which you are all well aware of. Please attend. And all of your constituents are welcome also. The breakfast will be very brief. It's a very great program. You'll hear a little bit more in another depth of what this really is. As well as being the director of the Strategic Communications and Event Planning, I'm also a board member of SACS, the Substance Abuse Coalition Summits, an advisory board member, okay? And just to briefly tell you where Dr. Wrightson left off, it's very important that you all know in this red carpet invitation that you're all here to visit with us and meet these folks. What he said is pointedly true. It's total abstinence. And by that, it's a holistic, total abstinence process. It's very powerful. It's very important. So we appreciate all of you being here. Good luck. Good luck to all of you, because you're all beautiful people, and everyone is a qualified candidate. So thank you so much for being here. At this point, what I'd like to do is actually let Angelo take. I think he's coming, or he's hiding. Are we waiting on a couple other folks? All right, I want to introduce to you, you already know Angelo. He's a longtime friend. I've known him more than half of a lifetime. Of course, teacher, coach, attorney at hand. Who? Oh, we do. Oh, great. Oh, no. Okay. Come on. Yeah, great.
Dante, you want to make sure?
Dr. Edmonds and Dr. Long.
Dr. Greg Long?
Yes, Dr. Greg Long. I'll introduce you, part of the coalition.
Just hand him the mic.
Where are you, Greg? Here you are.
You got that? Nope. Okay, very good.
Dr. Gregory Long. I'm an anesthesiologist in the area, locally, Western Pennsylvania, and I practice part-time in Florida. Been with VRN since, August, I think it was, and started to get an inkling of what this was going to be about. It just seemed to be something that was going to work out very well. Angelo's been a big mentor to me as far as this goes, Dr. Wrightson and some other people on this, so pretty excited about what we can do to actually help with the opioid epidemic that is ongoing in the United States right now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Edmonds. I've been in VRN for just about the length of Greg, a little bit longer, and a lot of things that he said relative to being able to help people in a great way, in a revolutionary way, is really the biggest motivating factor. In my practice, I see a number of people who are addicted or trying to recover from addiction, and this just dovetails right into what I see on a fairly regular basis too. My main focus is oral and maxillofacial surgery, but there's not a day goes by that we don't see someone who needs our help. And so this has been a great opportunity for us, and I hope it, does everything that we expect it to.
Charles? This is Charles Arena, the final guest here, and he's the CFO of Substance Abuse Coalition Summits, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I've been working with Angelo since 2005 on this project in many different aspects, and it's very exciting to see it moving into the way that it's moving into now. So,
thank you very much. Now, which mic should I use so we can get the candidates up there? This one's up here, and I hand this back to you. Okay, is that where I'm supposed to go now? Am I on track where we're supposed to be doing? Okay, great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just a real quick heads up here. This is probably hundreds of years of education and hundreds of years of experience. Hundreds and hundreds of experiences with patients. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're educators, they're CFOs. Tom McKinley's family, Tom McKinley worked with Steve Jobs once, and he worked with Apple before we knew what Apple was. So what I'm saying is, we're here to welcome you so you can get your message out, but I would like to ask one favor. None of these, does anybody at this front table live here in Newcastle? Does anybody live in Newcastle? Bruce Gaelick's the only one. Jim Barber used to live in Newcastle. Can we give them a thank you because they brought Pittsburgh money to Newcastle? Thank you. Gentlemen, it is such an honor to be part of a group like yours. This is a dream team of professionals. And notice, most of them have gray hair. Some of them have no hair. Okay? So what does that mean? It means we're not into careers. We're into making a difference. The Substance Abuse Coalition Summit is, first and foremost, neutral. We are neutral. We are blind to any ambition, including our own. We know that there's all kind of exciting ideas out there, and tomorrow we could become irrelevant. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to drop the curtain and start going in that direction. Because they just don't know what to say. So there are several levels of incompetence. You might not even know what you don't know. You know I don't know something. You know something a little bit and you know it inside and out. These guys know it inside and out. And today when you leave here, you're never going to be able to say, I didn't know what I didn't know. How many people in here know that there is an injection that you could get that's non-habit forming, not habit forming at all, not narcotic? Not that many people. It's we have this message down pat. 20 minutes, you'll know what you didn't know. You'll know it at a different level. How many other people know that shot has been available, approved by the FDA since October 10th, October 11th, 2010, the FDA approved it. It's amazing to me how many people don't know that this is out there. Now, one other thing you may not know is you don't know that you can't get that injection. And Marianne, doesn't surprise me. You're a very intelligent girl, and it's a real thrill to look at you. And I'm saying, I know that you know things. And you know also probably that Vivitrol injection can't be given to somebody unless they're clean. So that's on Thursday. He's going to be in Pittsburgh. And they have a device that you can put on your ear that looks like a hearing aid, and we can take the pain away. We can take 20 points of the COW score, all the withdrawal symptoms away in, Dr. Barber, what, 10 minutes? Can you pass the microphone down there real quick? So I don't want to lag behind here. I promised them I'm going to get them back on the campaign road.
Using the bridge within 20 minutes, 67% of the COW score is reduced. In other words, those are the symptoms you're feeling. Nausea, anxiety, your nose running, and depression. Within 30 minutes, 80% of those symptoms are gone. And with 1 hour, 85% of those symptoms are gone. The device is left on for 5 days. It's sending a signal to the brain that tells you can't feel those emotions that you're feeling anymore. And after 5 days, 97% of those symptoms are gone, and over 88.8% of people in this program using this device went through the medically assisted treatment also.
And doctor, thank you so very much. And lastly, the last player is, how many people in here have ever heard the phrase get high on life? Those of you who know me know that I've been called by my wife Newcastle's oldest teenager. When's he going to grow up, right? I don't know if I ever want to. I'm telling you, I'm not going to. I do generally get high on life. I softball, all those things. We have one last new member to our group who has turned getting high on life into a science. And you may not know this, but in very succinct manner will be presented on Saturday. This is Father Mac is going to be there.
Great, and you'll bring your friends, family, and constituents. Again, it is a free breakfast, and you will. Home fries, we got breakfast sausages, we got a lot of stuff. So, I mean, it's a nice. If you are able to make it, and you definitely want to have you want to hear the whole 20-minute story, and we will get it done in 20-minute stories. It's a nice presentation. It's put together. I put the program together to be very, very warming, heartwarming for everyone that will be there, including our board members. So.
And lastly, before we get to the candidates, so you might want to get a drink or something, because we're going to immediately start calling you up here, because you'll come up here and we'll ask you to make a comment. You can make a comment about something. You say whatever you want. In the meantime, though, just to warm up a little bit, I am going to show you a little byproduct of the coalition work. And this is a little snippet of something we did at Kennedy Catholic High School. And Ed, listen, we kid each other, but you're a dear, dear friend. And this will take about 6 minutes. And right after that, we're going to go around. Somebody help me pick the candidates in what order they're going to go in, okay? So while I'm doing this, you might want to mill around the crowd. And Robert Johnson is on a phone right now. On June 11th, we are going to Harrisburg, and we are being our Facebook and our professional Twitter. Please become our friend. And when we're done, I want you to be able to remember one phrase: TAMAT. TAMAT. Total abstinence. Methadone is a narcotic. They're wonderful. Real person here. This real person now has a whole life. In many ways, he's probably further along than you and I, because there's the story of the phoenix, right? When you crash, sometimes you don't know God is all you need until God is all you got. And you get up off your butt, or if you don't believe in God, that's okay too, but you just get up and you light something internally inside of you. And that's what we're all about. Total abstinence. You won't find that anywhere in the recovery business. Total abstinence, medicine-assisted treatment. This is a few minutes here, about 4 minutes of something we did at a high school, and while that's playing, we'll get you organized, and then we'll get the heck out of your way. I almost said hell. Okay. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
Let's introduce Robert. This is Robert Johnson.
I'll tee up the video.
Right, Robert. Robert, go ahead. Robert is take the mic.
Hey guys, again, we're heading, as Angela mentioned, we're going to Harrisburg on Tuesday, June the 11th. We are excited about it. We're going to have a rally. It's going to start at 1:30 in the afternoon. If any of you ever watched on TV, you'll see any rallies go on in Harrisburg. They're always at the Capitol. And you'll be hearing more and more about this event over the next month leading up to June 11th. Thank you.
A message. So, Mr. Mayor, we've got mayor candidates. You have been hand chosen on purpose, because our government has school districts that are governed by you school board members. We have an executive in our midst. That's the mayor. That's what the mayor does. Several of you want to be the mayor, the chief executive of our city. And then we have some county commissioner people were invited. Loretta, thank you so very much. I can tell you, whoever's sitting here, I know what my personal preference is. My personal preference is to vote for the most competent person, and the most competent person is the most knowledgeable person, because knowledge is power, and we've got big problems, and we need powerful elected officials. So let's go do our thing, and I'll get out of the way.
Okay, if there's anybody that I did not get to the sign-up sheet who is an elected official or running for office, please let me know. I'd just like to get your contact information. If I could please ask Tracy Runkin to come up to the microphone, that would be appreciated. And if I mispronounce your name for any reason, please make sure you correct me.
It's Rankin, but thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, honestly, and I'm very excited to learn about this information. My name is Tracy Rankin. I am running for school director, Newcastle Area School District, and I'm a former employee of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where I worked for 25 years at the Youth Development Center. So in that capacity, I've seen the ravages of addiction firsthand, not only on individuals, but on families and the society in general. So learning more about this is definitely something on my agenda. I will definitely be there Saturday morning. So I'm very excited to be here with my fellow candidates as well. My candidacy, what I want to talk about a little bit is about change. And it's very interesting because change is an active verb. It is a word that requires us to do something. And beginning with a change of our minds and our attitudes. A big change about our minds and our attitudes, especially in regards to substance abuse, is the impact that it has on society as a whole. Now, we can maybe dismiss the process, we can dismiss how somebody else or the process or how we don't like about it or whatever makes us feel uncomfortable, but the reality is that it is a situation that is existing in our society. We've spent trillions of dollars, literally trillions of dollars over the last 20 years fighting substance abuse. And we spend all of that money trying to get rid of the suppliers. Well, if you know anything about supply and demand, if you want to get rid of something, you don't get rid of supply, you get rid of the demand. So once we manage that in a way that is effective, where we get people who are able to effectively not have to craving for drugs or are able to overcome their addiction, then we're going to see changes in society. Now, you might say, well, what does that have to do with running for school board? Well, here's the deal. We, the people, are the motivators of public policy. We are public policy. So when these gentlemen come up with a plan and come up with their ideas and their situations that they are able to eliminate substance abuse for people, it will go nowhere if we don't have public policy that effectively drives that. So as a school board member, as a person who's going to be working with children, with families, with our society, it's very important that we are knowledgeable about the policies that we implement that impacts the policies that allow them to do the work that they do. If we aren't on board, if we aren't educated about these topics, if we aren't educated about the impact that our dollars, that our tax dollars, your tax dollars, my tax dollars, everybody's tax dollars has on fighting society's ills, then we are wasting our time and our money. We've wasted a lot of time and we've wasted even more money. The time to make a change is now. We have to change our minds about how we think of these problems, and we have to change our minds about the solutions that are presented. These gentlemen are presenting a solution to us. I think it's very powerful. I'm excited about it. And I pray that we, as a collective group of people who are running for office, whether we win, whether we lose, let's stay involved, because we are the people that are going to drive public policy. We are the people that make the change. We are the change. We say it, we think it, but do we do it? So I'm asking everyone out there that's voting today, that's thinking about voting, think about the change that's needed to make in our society, the changes that we need to make to address public policy that's positive and productive and gets rid of the problems and the scourges that we've been spending time and money on without any progress. So I thank you. I hope that you will consider voting for me on May 21st. My name is Tracy Rankin, number 1 on the Democratic ballot, Newcastle Area School Director. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you, Tracy. Let me just point out, if I introduce you, you are not obligated to speak. So if you're not interested, please feel free to beg off. Also, we're going to try and keep this to about 2 minutes for each candidate and elected official, so we can expedite this and everybody can get out of here and go home. So the next person I'd like to introduce would be Loretta Spielvogel. You're welcome. After Loretta, we have Karen Humphrey.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Board of Directors, Coalition members. My doctor writes in. My knees are very good. Thank you. My name is Loretta Spielvogel. I'm a candidate for Lawrence County Commissioner. And I think I bring a needed voice to the table. I'm a retired police officer, 23 years of service to the city of Newcastle. During that time, I worked with the juveniles of the county. I taught drug prevention programs, the DARE program, any involvement that there was with the teachers, with the student assistance programmings, with any prevention with the drug and alcohol agencies that we had locally. I worked with those programs. That was 25, 30 years ago. I thought that I would end everything, that it would be wonderful, that I could cure all the ills. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and I have to agree that the cheapest thing that we could do is the preventive efforts. Unfortunately, funding is not available for preventive efforts because they want you to be able to show specific reductions, specific numbers, specific things, the outcomes that you need to have. So unfortunately, I've always said that we are a very reactive society. We need to be more of a preventive society to get things done, and that goes along with the change that there needs to be. At the county level, I know that we're responsible for millions of dollars that come in through state and federal monies, and I know a lot of that. Right now, we have our local Drug and Alcohol Commission that takes care of those monies, and they have a variety of different programs. I am up and interested to listen to any program that there is out there because I personally have been touched within my family, and I don't think that there's anybody out there in this audience tonight that has not been touched and that has not had to answer a phone call or get that phone call or make that phone call to a loved one about something that happened involving drug abuse. So I'm open to anything that there could possibly be. I think it is a multifaceted approach. I think some things work for some people and some things don't. I think we need any type of program that there is. New and innovative programs are wonderful to have on the table, and going hand in hand and working hand in hand with other programs, I think that's phenomenal. So thank you much for having us here this evening, and I look forward to hearing more information and becoming more involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta. Would Karen Humphrey like to come up and speak?
Who's on deck, Michael?
Karen Humphrey?
No, she's up, but who's on deck?
After that would be Stacy Fleo.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having this get-together this evening. Angela was at the school district, and I should just tell you a little bit about myself first. I am a current board member at the Newcastle Area School District, and I am in my sixth term and running for re-election. And Angela did come and speak with us at one of our meetings and has spoken to our students. And it's such a growing problem. It doesn't seem like, as much as we have prevention and talked about it and have different programs, it still seems to continue to grow. A couple weeks ago, we had the intermediate unit for the city had their annual convention, and they had a room that was dedicated to showing ways that students hide drugs, not just from their parents, but from school. They make devices that enable them to sneak them in. They might look like a bottle of pop, a bottle of water, and show it looks like there is water in it, and they're able to take it apart and insert whatever they want to. They might not market it that way. It might be marketed to hide headphones or something like that. But they're able to smuggle in drugs or whatever they want, or clothing and apparel, and some of it is marketed for that intent. Little compartments in a baseball hat, a jacket, a shirt, and then there's some symbols on it so that others out there do know that you may have drugs on you. So it is very scary, and certainly no school district is without drug use by students, but not just by students, by everyone. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter what your background is. So it's something, an area we all need to continue to work together with and each other, and continue to find ways to reach students. We have students that they grow up with that in their home, in their environment. They think that's part of life. They think that's part of earning their income. Or they just think it's recreational. I'm not going to be addicted by it. So I thank you, and I hope that we can all continue to work towards the goals of prevention and changing society. Because if we can do that, we'll all live in a much better place. All right, I thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Stacy? And after Stacy, we have Rick Russo.
Hi, my name's Stacy Cleo. I'm running for Newcastle School Director. This is I'm in my second term seeking re-election for third term. I work for the Institute for Transfusion Medicine in Pittsburgh. I've been there for 35 years. And I work part-time at UPMC Jameson 1 day a week in the infusion clinic as a therapeutic phlebotomist. I want to thank the board here, and Angelo Pepa and Doug Michael Trott for everything that you guys do for brainstorming this. This is something that we need. It's an epidemic. It's all over. It's not just our community. It's nationwide, and we have to stick together no matter who we are running, what office we are running for, whether it mayor, commissioner, school board. We all have to be on board. Angelo had come to our school. He did a great presentation. We thank him. We need to do more and have you guys in our school more. We have a partnership with Drug and Alcohol, Human Services, and we have a SAP program. We do a lot in our school system, but we do need to do more. So I want to thank you, and hopefully we can all stick together and, force forward there. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. After Rick, we have Jesse Moss.
Hello, thank you for inviting me to this event. I'm Rick Russo, for you who don't know me. Just a short summary about myself. I'm running for a magisterial district judge. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I'm retired from the Newcastle Police Department. I retired from the rank of lieutenant, and I currently work for IUP's Criminal Justice Training Center as a academy instructor. With that, as academy instructor, I teach crimes code, vehicle code, rules of criminal procedure, law enforcement ethics, and many other subjects. And kind of relating to the subject at hand, all through my law enforcement career, when I was with the city of Newcastle, I was also a member of the Lawrence County District Attorney Drug Task Force, and I was involved with many cases with that. Angela, I remember way back when you was part of the District Attorney's office working on some of those cases. When I was the head of the community policing department with the Newcastle Police Department, I was put on the board of DAX, and I sat on that board and helped them with many of the problems at hand. And just recently, I was a consultant for Pennsylvania Commission of Crime and Delinquency, where we worked on many substance abuse cases and grant formation for that. So glad to do that. But within my experience and knowledge that I'll be bringing to the magistrate's office deals much with substance abuse and the drug problem. I've seen firsthand how that that problem destroys lives, families, and the community at large. And I believe that we need to work evenly through prevention, treatment, and through the justice system to try to alleviate the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. After Jesse, we have Albert Conti.
Hello, my name is Jesse Moss. I'm running a write-in candidate for the Newcastle School Board District. I've currently worked at YDC. I was there for 27 years as a youth development counselor, supervisor. I helped rewrite the chemical abuse program. That's where I worked at. I helped write it. I also started working with youth in the early 80s as a wraparound. I've worked at the Kraus Shelter part-time. And drugs are definitely a big problem. It's one of the problems that I've had lots of training, but it constantly evolves. Things constantly change. Different types of drugs come about. We were dealing with a lot of sniffing, chemicals and so forth, marijuana, a little bit of cocaine and things, but it constantly grows, constantly. Heroin was a big thing. They said heroin evolves. Every 20 years it comes back. One of my biggest concerns with the school board right now, and it's probably something that has happened, I cannot see putting sixth graders with high school students. We'd be naive to think that drugs aren't in our school district, especially the high school level. And to put sixth graders up there with high school students who are easily influenced at that time, it's not a good thing. It's not conducive to their learning, So I would, at that time, you're just reaching your puberty. They're easily influenced by other people, older people, and I have a granddaughter, and a great-granddaughter. Both of them are 7 years old, and they repeat what they see, and they do what they see. They repeat what they hear, and they do what they see other people do. So would I like to have them in an environment like that? I would not. And what I'm about, anything that has to do with the best interest of the child, that's what I'm about. I've been involved in that type of situation since I was 32 years old, 65 now. So whatever's in the best interest of the youth, that's what you got to do. I've coached basketball, volunteer basketball for the last 10 years. Shenango, Newcastle. I coached football at Newcastle High School for about 4 years. So I'm really into students. That's all that matters, what's in the best interest of the child. It's not about teacher. It is about a teacher when it comes to accountability. But other than that, it's what's about the student, what's best for the student. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Most of us know us here, but I'm Albert Conti. I'm the city controller. I'm in my second term, and I'm a mayoral candidate. Known Angelo for many years. We did a whole bunch together down at St. Vitus with the kids. And I honestly don't know a lot about this, but I'm very excited to learn more. And Angelo knows if he ever needs anything, he can call on me. We're very excited that you people are willing to come to our community and help this problem, especially the youth. I think everybody here knows somebody of young age that might have had this problem. And thank God we've got people like you, especially Angelo in our community, who just works diligently to fight this. And we're very excited for you guys, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Mastrangelo. I'm the mayor of the city of Newcastle. My background is very simply, I'm a veteran, Air Force, And also a professional background is actually hospital administration. I approached the administration. For the last 8 months, I've been working with a group, one out of California, and one, I'm not sure exactly where they're located, but the point is, they're willing to do service. In fact, about a month ago, one of the groups, he belongs to Carter Health, he purchased the hospital. He purchased the hospital, and they're going to put in 2 services, which is ties into what you're doing right now. One is for Veterans Affairs, which is what we really need. Secondly is, for lack of a term, behavioral health program, dealing with alcoholism, dealing with drugs, etc. It's going to be inpatient and outpatient. And I think this is what we need for this community, not only this community, but also the surrounding areas, as far as I'm concerned. And I guess that's about it. This is something that we need, and this is something that we're going to bring into the city. We're talking about 300 jobs, and maybe more. We're talking about a hospital that's 200,000 square feet, but they have almost 7 acres of land, which is vacant. So there's a lot of room for building up the area, as far as that goes. And from my concern, we want to develop the south side. And when this hospital goes into play, it'll be like the cornerstone of the south side, as far as that goes. And hopefully that'll provide services to this community that are desperately needed. As you know, if you have to go into a hospital, you have to go outside the city for inpatient. Now we have it for inpatient. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, I know, so you guys can all change your stuff because I'm just going to go up. I'm Mary Ann Gavril. Thank you for having us tonight. Angela, I wanted to make you aware that we spent a lot of time in court, and you talked to me quite often about this organization and the substance abuse. And believe it or not, thank you for telling me that I'm intelligent, but I also have a memory that just doesn't ever forget anything. A little background, I am retired from the crisis shelter of Lawrence County. I was the legal court advocate for sexual assault and domestic violence victims. I spent a great deal of time with my clients in court and out of court, many times in the middle of the night when I would get called to the hospital because of a sexual assault or because of domestic violence. Many times this has to do with a lot of substance abuse. I've had clients who have OD'd, and I have watched them die. I had 600 clients a year, so in all the years I did this, was a lot of people that I dealt with. Prior to that, I taught school, and not at a public school, but at an alternative ed school. I had the kids who were going to be expelled because of drug abuse, because of poor behaviors, whatever, because of guns, whatever their problem was, those are the students that I had for a lot of years. I think about broken glass a lot. You know, we come up here and we want to talk to you what our plans are for the city of Newcastle or for the county of Lawrence. And in actuality, if you think about it as broken glass, we have a lot of addiction and drug abuse in the city of Newcastle. We have a lot of domestic violence. We have different crimes. But we also have such good core values among many of our residents that live here. And so I want you to put this thought in your mind. A kaleidoscope is an object that is made out of broken glass. And if you put it together and look through it, you will then see a beautiful sight. So I believe that if we work together, we're going to come to that ending where we can make Newcastle a great place to live, somewhere where you want to raise your family, somewhere where business will want to flourish. But we need to get serious about the problems that are facing the city. Part of it is the addiction problem, which then causes blight, and it just continually goes on. So keep that image in your mind about broken glass. Thanks so much. I'm Mary Ann Gavril. I'm running for Newcastle City Council.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Rhonda, you are up. And after Rhonda, we have Mark Belisco.
Hello, I'm Rhonda Dam, and I'm running for mayor for Newcastle. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for coming to our community and helping us with this problem. We need to go after this problem not just with law, but with compassion. For every law enforcement officer, we need a social worker. For every school security guard, we need a guidance counselor or a social worker. For every probation and community service program, we need an early intervention program. We need to focus on transition back to society. We need a beacon of hope for these people so that they have something better to look forward to, a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. Others have spoken about the supply versus the demand. If we give our children, our teenagers, our young people something better to look forward to, a light at the end of that tunnel, then they have something to reach for. It won't be easy. I know you gentlemen and ladies have put in a lot of hard work to it, and we need to do that too here in our city. It can be done. It will be done because there is no other choice that we have left with at this time. Thank you so much for everyone being here this evening. Again, thank you, and I look forward to the breakfast on Saturday. I'm Rhonda Dam, running for mayor for Newcastle.
Thank you, Rhonda. After Mark, we have Jeffrey Scribb.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Belisco. I'm running for mayor. And I think that one of the most important things, and the thing that came to me as I was sitting here listening to everyone speak, is that all of us here are candidates. Some of us are competitors. And we all have different opinions on how government should work, how policy should work, how to run a city, how to run a school district, how to run a county. We all have our differences. But I think what was most beautiful here today is that we have found common ground. All of us here have found common ground. We have all acknowledged, and I believe we've all been touched by addiction, whether it's been our families, in our family, or whether it's been some of our close friends. I don't believe anybody is exempt from that. So what I see here is that we have common ground. Regardless of who wins these races, I believe without any question that whoever is in this office, in the different offices, they're going to be 100% in cooperation with your group to fight this addiction and fight this horrible, horrible disease that affects not only our community, but the entire nation. So I don't think there's any question on that, and I thank you for having me here this evening.
Thanks, Mark.
My name is Jeffrey Scribb. I'm running for County Commissioner. First of all, I want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for having us here. It's a good program. I want to know how you got Angelo to be serious. I've known him a long time. He's never been serious in his life until he talks about this. And I've dealt with Angelo before on this problem because, like he says, it all hits our family one time or another. And Angelo helped me out before I got us started. I'm impressed with this. I agree with Angelo. Methylene clinics don't always have the answers on it. And we know we have a problem. The first thing is prevention. As a county commissioner, I will work with the district attorney and hopefully work with you guys to solve this problem that we have. As a commissioner, I can give you the resources and the funding for it. Okay, all right. But like I said, what we have to do is work as a whole community. I wish we'd had the rest of the county in here because it affects the whole Because if we can educate our young people first on prevention, then we won't have to deal with them so much later in life with getting them clean. So once again, I'd like to thank you for having us here. And if I win, I look forward
to miss anybody. Okay? Everybody got a chance. Did we miss anybody?
Angela.
Okay. And we're going to, you saw the drill, how they're doing it? Yes. The microphone is yours, sir. Thank you. Thanks for that help out there.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Lawrence Williams. I'm a Republican candidate for Newcastle City Council. Just first of all, I'd like to say, thank you guys, and listening to your program, I want to say that it's a game changer. To me, that's a game changer. Right now, what we're looking at in our communities are facilities that are trying to establish marijuana grows, and I've always thought, and I guess it's a large debate on whether that's a gateway drug or not. And so I would need to talk with you guys more and to work with you more to find out more about that, because marijuana abuse is skyrocketing. And if that's leading to more opiates, then we really don't have a problem. With the new facility that we got coming up and the more dispensaries that they're planning ahead. So that's a game changer for what you want to do. And like I said, as a city councilman, what I like to do, like I said, is establish dialogue with you, because for a city to grow, it needs a community that's going to be able to meet the work demand, to be able to emulate the cores of a society. You're going to need to lower crime. You're going to need people that are responsible and able to live in their homes and take care of their homes. And with the drug abuse problem that we have, like I said, she brought it up earlier, that does encourage blight. It tears up homes. It tears up communities, and we just can't have it. And our police forces, like I said, being on council, our police and safety forces, I'll wrap it up there. But our police and safety forces are at wit's end right now. With all the money that we have that we're budgeted to them, to be able to combat this problem. So again, like I said, what you're trying to do is a game changer. I appreciate what you're doing. I'd like to work with you more and to find out more about it, so we can get a wrap on this here, and so we can help our community. Again, my name is Lawrence Williams, Newcastle City Council candidate. Thank you.
Lawrence, thank you very much. Thank you for doing this. As we wrap up, what I would like to do is we wrap up. I know you want to do this, but I want to thank Michael for actually calling up all the candidates and for all of you being here. Thank you so much for this intimate red carpet invitation to do this, because it not only, as you all shared, it was very important for our coalition board members for you to meet them. That's what this was about, because the breakfast, it's going to be different, okay? It's a different presentation, and you will get the whole educational piece of it in a 20-minute message. It's educational, inspirational, and motivational. Trust me. And if you can't make it, it will be out there on the internet, I'm sure. But it's a beautiful event. And it was very important that this happened so that all of our board members, coalition members, can meet you and hear you, because this is not going to be the format on Saturday morning. So for them to meet you, hear you, and them, for you to see them, it was a great event. And what's going to happen, so you know, and I know there were some questions, you will get the full story. There will be 2 speakers, keynote speakers. Angelo won't be one of them, I promise. You won't have to listen to him twice.
And Doug won't be either.
No, I won't. I'm bringing my guitar.
We're getting the hook out any minute.
No. We will have integration. It's your turn. Don't you love this? This is a great show, isn't it? Michael, thank you for doing what you did.
Michael did a wonderful job. Norman Moses, you're a candidate, aren't you? That you choose not to? Pardon me?
Norman, I'll take that mic. Would you like to
He's
come
my
up?
neighbor. I don't want you to let the air out of my tires. By the way, I've known Norman for a long time. So this is our last candidate, right? Have we missed anybody? Did we miss somebody? I saw a hand go up. Okay. Norman, it's yours.
I'd like to thank the committee, and I came here to learn tonight. And what you're saying has touched me in a different way. about 50 years ago, my mother was committed to Torrance State Hospital near Blairsville. And prior to that, she jumped out a window and split her head open. She lived a long time, thank God for psychiatric ward. And I think if people like you were around, they could have recognized early some of the signs she may have exhibited. That may have prevented the hardship she went through up until the year of 19, when she died in 86. I came here to learn tonight, and I've learned quite a bit, and I intend to learn more. And I just wish you people were around 50 or 60 years ago. Because the key is recognizing someone who has a problem, sending them to a proper professional, and basically, if you can get them to the medical help, just maybe you may solve the problem through communicating with them. So I believe in total abstinence, but I think recognizing the ups and downs of life mean an awful lot. And professionals, if we can get over the stigma of telling someone to go get help, and I think that's the key to a lot of it, and I can't thank you folks enough. I'm Norm Moses, I'm running for school. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we have 2 hats left here. TAMAC, right? Total abstinence. Now, Jesse, I don't want to say anything, but most of the board seem to think you need a hat more than most people. I remember when you were a Newcastle football player. So the board wants to give this to Jesse Moss, right? And now the other one here, we only have one left. And Eddie, that hat is pretty ratty, and you're part of our advisory board anyway. So the board wanted you to start dressing up a little bit, you know? You're going to run with us, you got to clean up. So we'll give you these hats in a minute. And here you go. If you hand Jesse his too, okay? Now you're probably going to have to ask somebody's help on connecting it in the back.
That's Jesse.
Lastly, Mr. Mayor, this august group of friends I have from all over the place is also colleagues with Valerie Gilreath, who's in Chandler, Arizona as we speak, with a VRN branch office, and our dear friend Fred Eck down in Venus Springs, Florida. Dr. Chen could not make it from Altoona. And our goal is to proliferate total abstinence as far and fast and prevention as like you. So please come to our breakfast. And lastly, please don't forget who you are. Mark, I graduated with a class of 740 kids. I remember being in a parade where we dominated the WPAL. We are special people. We have special place in this world. Much is given. Much is expected from people who have been given much. You have stepped forward into the arena, dust it off and say, no more. We're going to get to total abstinence and total seriousness about everything we do. And I'm just so excited that you came here. Please come to the breakfast, and thank you for coming. Anything else, gentlemen? No?